We show you a new feature, and I'll take you on a little journey of a night with Locke researching NBA numbers, because nothing could be more boring, possibly. It's today's edition of Tip Off. The drum guy, he just started way too early. He just jumped in. BYU Boise State tonight. First thing, get a lead early, prevent road turnovers. Boise State's offense is not good enough to exploit you. Therefore, if you get ahead, you just roll. A few other notes on that, just quickly, and I want you to keep an eye on it. I don't like the hydro offense, or whatever it's called. I think BYU's got to go back to Lisa pounding, and let Riley work the edges and some basic passing. Use the strength of Cody Hoffman offensively. The defense is fine, but watch what happens there. I really thought they had good first down yardage the other day, and then every time they took the next step and went into hydro, things fell apart. Probably no tip-off tomorrow. Not probably. I'm going back east. So for a day. So no tip-off tomorrow. Hope you're good. All right, I'm going to take you on a little journey. I don't know. Maybe it's not going to be any good. You'll have to tell me. Of just kind of researching stuff and coming up with stuff last night. And I was all energized by it and thought it was better than some other stuff and frankly didn't have a lot else, so I figured might as well just take you on that journey. But first, I want to show you how a new feature is going to work. If you're on YouTube, I think you're going to go silent for about a minute here. So stick with me on this. But this is the vision of the new Locke Rant line or question line. BYU fans, at the end of the game tonight, you drop me a line. This was an example. I'm not sure that that's exactly what we're doing because we're Jazz and then NBA, but it's hard to feel that way right now when there's just no Jazz and no NBA news. But the number is 801-200-3738. 801-200-3738. And the concept is the following. You call and can leave a message. All right, so that's how it works. Thanks for the call, Paul. Hope you're traveling well. Uh, First off, on that, I just don't think the word Fasenko and Kanter ever need to be in the same sentence. They're really divergently different. One is, remember, Fasenko was a mid-second round draft pick, if I recall, and which means that 30 teams passed a huge 7-footer more than once. Uh, and the reason for that is because people had huge concerns on him. He's got great talent at 7'1", and he's still only 25 years old, and so maybe there's a chance that it's still going to click for Carell, and we'd like to it for because he's a nice kid, but people did not envision him. He was the 38th pick of the second round, so I mean, people did not envision him as a starting big-time center in the NBA, or he would have been drafted earlier. Second-round draft picks very rarely make it, so there's no way. I think that comparison is fair. The second part on Kanter, he's really at this point with his limited development and where he is in his basketball career. Remember, he shared with us last year in an interview that he didn't start playing until he was, I think, 14 years old. And so this has all happened very fast, and he's really very raw and doesn't have some of the same fundamentals and doesn't instinctually do some things, which means I don't really know how good he's going to be yet. I don't think that's known. My guess on him, as I've said before, is kind of a Dale Davis, Charles Oakley type, and that for a number 3 pick of the draft, that might not be what everybody wants, but if you go look at that specific draft, it was a little limited. People were waiting because of the lockout, and that pick might not have been as a 3 pick as much as a Derek Favors. Frankly, Favors was a 3 pick in a good draft, and we're seeing it's still taking him a while. He's got some more natural skills. I don't think Kanter's ever going to be able to come up over the rim to defend. I think he's got to learn how offensively to use his body, create some space, and do some things with the basketball to be able to uh, finish at the rim without getting his shot blocked. And I think he'll learn that. And then he's got to add that post jump shot, and then he'll be a pretty good offensive player. And frankly, if he adds that mid-range jump shot, he becomes a better player than Dale Davis or Charles Oakley ever was. And I've seen that jump shot. Just how he integrates it into a game is going to be an issue. The other issue on Fesenko was there was a real lack of work ethic. There was a really huge lack of maturity. Um, and I don't certainly Cantor's work ethic is unprecedented for that age. Maturity's probably going to be an issue. He's lived a pretty restricted life. He's been under uh, the heavy hand of his father and how he lived in Turkey. If you've listened to him talk about just kind of it was, I think it's a pretty strict house, and now he's got a world of freedom, and that will be interesting to see how he deals with it. But that's no different than the other 19-year-old kid who is going to be fawned over and have to figure out how he keeps his head about him. So I just don't think you should worry about Kanter versus Fesenko in any way. Kanter's going to be a serviceable bottom end on Kanter. He's going to be a serviceable big in the NBA. Likely scenario on Kanter, he's going to be a 10-10, 11-10 guy in the NBA, and maybe there's another step there for a better case scenario. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. All right, here's my little journey through the internet last night. Did I mention that Stanford beat USC? Sorry, I just have to that just happens every now and then. So last night I'm reading Hoops World. It's just a good site, and they do a preview on the Jazz, and it was good. We might question whether the guy ever watched the team when he puts Al Jefferson as the best defensive player. And I think I have expressed numerous times on this show this kind of have this lack of understanding of really how to evaluate Al Jefferson. I mean, as a person, he's fabulous. He works hard. He's got great skills. He does things that other players in the league don't do. I mean, there's really there's a lot out there to talk about. Defensively, he's not good enough, despite the fact that he was ranked the top defensive player on the Jazz in this preview. So I'm reading that, and it spurs me to kind of start playing around on the internet about basketball and on this value of Al. So one of the most important things in my mind that Al does is that late in the game he can get a shot off. It's very difficult for teams late in games to go somewhere and get a shot. And in fact, Al is the fifth best field goal percentage player in the NBA in the final 5 minutes of a close game over the last 2 years. Since joining the Jazz, he shoots 49.5% in the final 5 minutes of a game within 6 points. There are only 4 guys in the NBA that shoot better: Blake Griffin, Tim Duncan, Luis Scola, and stunningly, Jason Terry, who's the best of the bunch because he also shoots 48% from three. Jason Terry has taken more free throws in all those cases. Jason Terry, who's now on Boston, is the clutchest player in the NBA. The loss to Dallas in regards to that is going to be enormous. And I can't imagine that somebody can pick up where he left off playing off Dirk Nowitzki. Interesting, Millsap is 8th, by the way, best in the NBA. And Devin Harris, who's generally not the clutchest player in the world, was 23rd, which was surprising to me. And I think the first thing is, the reason is we know what we're doing with the ball. That when you have Al, you're going into the post, and the ball is working off of Al in the post. And if teams don't react, and Al's going to take a shot, and for a possession in the final 5 minutes of a game, he's a pretty high percentage guy because possessions are less good in the final 5 minutes of a game. Then if they double him, then you're swinging the ball, and you're getting the ball to different guys, and suddenly Millsap is open and gets an opportunity. And Paul has also gotten hot and abused guys like Luis Scola and had his Miami game late. And frankly, it's a small enough sample size that a few of those will run it up, but he deserves that credit. So, and then Devin, I'd just say, is playing off the other guys. And really, when you start to look at Al, has taken 196 shot attempts in the final 5 minutes of a close game. That's also fourth most in the NBA. Kobe's got 286 and made 38%. Durant's got 274, made 39%, and Russell Westbrook has 257s, made 42%. Carmelo and Al have taken the same, and Carmelo's made 39.8%. Al's made 49.5%. Okay, so got to give him some credit. Al, of interesting on the defensive note, Al Jeffersn also leads the NBA in block shots in the final 5 minutes of a close game over the last 2 years with 21, followed by Durant with 19 and Duncan with 15. I don't know what it means, but just thought I'd give him credit for it. And the other note that is probably is he's plus 51 in that stretch. The Jazz are a plus when he is on the floor in those circumstances. So anyway, I was doing that research and I thought, that's where the value of Al is. And then I was trying to figure out, okay, well, what about out of some things with Al? I went back to a note from Kirk Goldsberry, who does court vision analysis. It's an incredible website. Major statistical note, and he was talking about the corner three. And the Jazz took the second fewest corner threes of any team in the NBA last year, and were the second worst at shooting the corner three. But what kind of spurred me to go over there was that I remembered his analysis that the corner three only comes to you off predominantly off dribble penetration and high post play. Okay, we really don't do either. So if that is in fact true, how do you get corner three action for the Jazz? And then maybe I paused for a second and said, well, maybe it doesn't matter because when Mo Williams and Randy Foye, and I've done some research on them, they're not big corner three guys. They're top three guys, and maybe this doesn't matter. So I went to clipperblog.com where I know they'd done some NBA stats research recently, and I pulled up some Mo Williams stuff. See, this is exciting. Don't you wish you could do this every night? And in fact, Mo Williams is a far better deep shooter from the left side of the floor than the right side of the floor. Which my first reaction is that's good, because if he's the point guard and we're running something on action on the left side, he's making the entry pass into the left block to Al, and now someone's got to stay tight on Mo. Or if they're going to leave Mo, and then that's where Mo's at his best. He's a 44% left corner three shot, which I don't think he can get off Al in the post, because Al likes to straighten up and be clear from 15, and that would clog it a little bit. And he's 43% from the angle three on the left side. He's not as good on the right side. He's 33%. So now, do we ask Mo to shoot from the right side? Is he going to make the entry pass clear and go to the other side? Or are we going to leave Mo? He makes the entry pass. He holds because that's where he's better. Or does it clog up Al? It'll be interesting to watch some action. Probably go back, watch Synergy, and see some action on his play there. The next search was obviously Randy Foye, and Randy Foye is the best shooting straight down the middle. He is better on the left corner than the right corner, so if he's playing point and dropping in, maybe that's okay, but he is at his best dead straight. One other note on Mo I thought was interesting. Most guys in the league are not very good 3 to 9 feet. He actually is pretty good from 3 to 9 feet. So trying to figure out where then does Foye get his stuff in it straight away? Maybe he's able to throw the entry pass. He just slides up top, and he has that look. And if they want to double from there, teams are able to. It's going to be harder for teams to double Al than it has been in the past, which may lead to him to have a bigger year. The other question, though, also is, okay, if Millsap and Al are both so good late in games, how does Ty deal with having Favors on the floor defensively late in games? You've got to have a guy to go to offensively to give the ball to. I think that's Al. And then how is Millsap, who is either our best or second best player right now, on the floor? And I think that gets, so there's still, you can just see that how complicated this all is. Okay, then the next thought that came to me when I was reading some of these notes and Goldsberry and some other people was that last year jump shooting was way down in the NBA. Points per possession was way down. Everything was down. Was that a huge advantage to the Jazz, actually? Because we were one of the lowest jump shot. I went to that corner three thing. We didn't shoot that shot. Everything's down last year. Was that a huge advantage to us? Did we have a better year last year as a franchise because of the fact that we don't play that jump shooting game and we're in the post to Al and in the post to Paul at a higher rate than anyone else in the NBA, and we're going to actually, this was I started getting nervous, that we're actually going to have kind of a comeuppance here in this season because everyone else's jump shooting is going to get back. That little improvement of them point per possession while we stay the same because that's not who we were. We lose that advantage, and suddenly we're not quite as good on a real season as we would have thought we were. I don't know. Or have we added enough in Marvin, Mo, and Randy that we will be able to hit that upswing and just build off things? I don't know. That was the next kind of thought, and did a little research on that. And really, shooting was just down, considerably down last year in the lockout season, all the way around. So that was my little journey through the internet with a lot of thoughts. I don't know what answers I have for you on any of it. The only other note I have for you is that Ricky Rubio is expected to be back by Christmas. And I don't have a schedule. I don't have a regular schedule in front of me. We do most of our East Coast travel early, so I don't know if we get, whoa, this is how I have my schedule out. It's all on the calendar creator. My memory is that we do not, and just a quick scan, we do not get Minnesota pre-Christmas, so therefore the only times we see Minnesota this year, they are expected to have their full complement with Rubio in as well. So there's that note for you. Good luck to BYU tonight. Good luck to Utah at Arizona State, since I won't talk to you tomorrow. And have a fabulous weekend.